Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 5 with TRF and the Svetlana Masgutova Educational Institute. My name is Rebecca, and I am a MNRI course specialist and instructor, as well as I'm a nurse, and my specialty is working with individuals coming from trauma and chronic stress, things like that. So I am so happy to be here with you today and to be sharing. So this week, we are going to be focusing on the staying present in the here and now. And for those of you who work with individuals coming from trauma, it's such a gift to be able to experience the here and the now. So that's going to be the focus of this week. So I just have a few slides to show you. So I'm going to do that, and then we are going to get into some movements. Like I said, my name's Rebecca. So this first reflex that we're going to be looking at is the Moro reflex. And this is such a beautiful reflex because it activates that fight or flight response. And so in week 3, I believe, with Isabel, she talked about this phase 1, which gives us access to this breath. So it actually helps train our breath, that inhale and that exhale. So this first movement that we see in the infant, it's a little bit disorganized, and it's the opening up of the core and the limbs. Then the baby moves into this phase 2, which provides protection. So they kind of bring in everything into their core. And as we talked about reflexes, their purpose is for protection and survival. So our bodies are designed to protect and help us to survive. And this is such a beautiful gift because these babies, when they lose the stability, they come in for this protection to keep themselves from getting hurt. And so that's the phase 2 that they move into. And then this phase 3, according to Vygotsky, it's called the embracing stage. And so this is where, after that stressor happens, we have this release of tension. So this embrace that happens, and this lays that groundwork for bonding, for trust, for attachment. And so this is the reflex movements that we are going to be working through today. And so here we go. So I'm just going to show you these movements. And so this phase 1 has to do with this extension. Instead of saying phase 1, 2, and 3, I'm just going to keep it simple and say extension, flexion, and embrace. And so we are going to be looking at this extension, flexion, and this embrace. And so this helps train our body even for movement. So the coming in and the coming out, because as we know with trauma, we can get so stuck, and we can lose our flexibility and our mobility, and even opening up can be really challenging. So we are going to be using these beautiful reflexive movements to help our body move from that stuck state into this movement. So these are the different phases that we're going to be going through. But I want you guys to experience something. I want you guys to experience these different phases, but I want you to experience it on an exhale. Because as you learned in week 3, how our exhale really helps our body to release of our muscle tension. It even helps with flexibility. So I would invite you guys to experience extension with both inhalation and exhalation. So I'm going to demonstrate this for you first, and then I want you guys to be able to experience this in your body. So I want you to be able to experience the subtle difference between using our breath in and our breath out. And then after we experience that, we are going to be moving through these movements. So these movements, we are going to start off with this flexion, because when we come from trauma or stress, we want our bodies to experience safety first. So we're going to come in and we're going to experience safety, the flexion, and then we're going to open it up and be open to extension. And then we're going to be coming into the embrace. So this is the sequence that we're going to follow. And then we are going to do all these movements on exhale. Okay, once again, I will just demonstrate this for you, just so that you can get a visual of what this movement is. And I invite you to experience it with that breath in, and then we're going to experience it also with a breath out. So we're talking about extension here. So I'm going to take this breath in first. So I'm going to do one breath without movement to get my body kind of centered. And we want our feet to be about hips width apart. And then we want to make sure we check our knees so that they're not locked in place. Okay, so I'm going to take a deep breath in and breathe out. And then I'm going to experience this extension with an inhale. Okay, so I'm going to take a deep breath in. And that's the extension. So you see, I opened up my limbs, my hands are open, my head is tilted back a little bit. And that's the extension with the inhale. Now I'm going to experience it on an exhale. Okay, so I'm going to take a deep breath in and breathe out. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to experience. So I would invite you all to stand up with me, and if standing is good for you, and experience this on both inhale and exhale. And just see if you notice any difference here. Just see if you notice, let's just see what you notice. Okay, so we're going to take a deep breath in. So I'll back us up a little bit. So feet are hips width apart. Okay, and then make sure your knees aren't locked. We're going to just put our hands up like this and just feel that right now. Okay, and so I'm going to take one big breath first, and that inhale, exhale, and then we're going to inhale together. Okay, so we're going to take a breath in and exhale and inhale and extend. Okay, and now I want you guys to experience it on an exhale. Okay, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, and so just notice that subtle difference. If you experienced any difference, this doing everything on exhale allows our body to have more flexibility. It allows us, our spine, to have more flexibility and our muscles to relax a little bit. So now we're going to go through the sequence. I will demonstrate the sequence for you first, and then we will experience it together. So the sequence, so I'm going to start off in this position, and then we're going in to flexion. So I'm coming in because this is all about that protection and survival. And then I'm going into extension. And then I'm going into that embrace. So as I'm embracing, it's like I'm hugging a ball. I'm creating this space right here. Okay. And the reason why we kind of have our hands like this, I want you to fully get this coming into flexion and helping your body to really feel this flexion, extension, and embrace. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this together. So feet hip width apart. We're going to make sure our knees aren't locked. Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath in and breathe out. Breathe in. 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 Breathe out. We're going to do this 2 more times. Okay. Breathe in. Breathe out. 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 Okay, so that was the 3 phases that we go through in sequence. We also are going to show you another variant to this moro. So we are going to be doing it in a cross-lateral pattern because we know that when we're able to cross the midline, that's really good for our brain. And so we're doing the same pattern. So if you think of this pattern coming in for flexion and extension, we are going to be doing this across our body. So I'm going to demonstrate this for you. And we, once again, all of our movements are on exhale. And this allows our body to experience that release, release of tension and stress. Okay, so when we come in, so we're coming in a cross-lateral pattern, I'm going to bring my elbow to my knee. So I'm going to bring it in like this, and then I'm going to go ahead and go into extension like this. Okay, so pay attention to your own body, and if balance is a challenge for you, you can go ahead and you can even do this in a chair. So you can do the same pattern in a chair. So the coming in for flexion. So it's doing that same pattern, that coming in, and I'm crossing that midline and then coming open. And as we are experiencing this, I want you to I really want you to experience this very three-dimensional. And what I mean by that is I am not just bringing my leg and my arm together. So I'm not just bringing it in and bringing it out. I am bringing my whole core into it. So I'm bringing my core in and I'm bringing my core and I'm opening that. And I'm creating this space between my knee and my hand. So I'm bringing this open. So as we are going through this pattern, I want you to just to focus in on your core and notice the space that happens between your hand and your knee. So why don't we go ahead and experience this? Once again, everything is on exhale. So we're going to be bringing our elbow and our knee together. And when you need to take a breath, go ahead and take a breath. And then continue on exhale. So take a deep breath in and exhale. And as you can tell, I'm using a really strong exhale. Now, this particular exercise is such a beautiful one. So I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of clients that have come through very complex trauma. And this particular exercise was so impactful for them. This helps release the stress hormones. This helps for regulating those big emotions. So I like to call it like, I've had clients that came in really hot, and I would do this one with them right away. So we would do this one together, and their body would just regulate. And then as you are doing this one with them, an attunement happens, and it's such a beautiful thing. So I would invite you to experience this with me. So let's go ahead, and we're gonna go in across, and we're gonna open like this. So this is the pattern. We're going in and open. If this is safe for you, okay. And if it isn't, you can just go ahead and watch. You can do like smaller movements and work your way up bigger. Yeah, this is just an invitation for you. All right, so let's go ahead and experience this one together. So we're going to take a breath in. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, so that's the cross-lateral movement. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. It's such a beautiful exercise to work with your clients and yourself even when we're experiencing those big emotions. This really helps to calm down our body and allow us to come into that here and now. So I do have one more movement that we are going to experience together. And this is an archetypal movement. So I'm going to just share my screen with you real quick, and then we will get moving.
Here's a quick question. It might be good to get it now instead of the end. When you're exhaling from your mouth, are your lips pursed?
My lips were pursed, I think, but the bigger thing is just making sure that you have that big exhale because it helps with that release.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. So this next one is called sequential arms opening, and this is an archetypal movement, a foundational movement. And so this is just kind of a picture of what we're going to be doing. But this is so important for opening up our arms and our core, because we know with trauma and stress, we get really locked in. We get really locked into protecting our core. And this is a beautiful thing. Like our bodies were made to survive. But what we have to do is we have to go in and we have to allow it to experience that here and now, and give it that opportunity to open up again, because our bodies become really good at being stuck here. And it's a beautiful thing. It's just because we've become so good at surviving. So we have to give it another option. We have to give it that option to allow our bodies to experience this opening, and the freedom for our hands and our arms, which is so important, because with stress, we have so much muscle tension, and our arms become really tight. But this particular archetypal movement allows us to have that freedom of our hands and our arms, and it continues to allow our core to begin to open up. And as you can tell from the beginning of our series, we've been slowly working up towards this point. And yeah, this is where we're at now, where we are starting to give our body this movement, allowing it to experience this movement, this opening, which is amazing. All right, so I will go ahead and I will show you this one. So this is, so we just start off with our hands like this. And once again, we do everything on the exhale. So we're gonna go ahead and breathe in and breathe out. And we bring our arms out. So we're bringing our arms out and up. And so you notice I have to take another breath in, and then I continue the exhale. And we bring our hands out and in. Okay, so that's a movement. I'll do it one more time for you. So we're going to take this deep breath in, and we're going to exhale. And up. And then I'm flipping my hands out and coming around and back. Okay, so now I invite you to experience this with me. So I invite you to experience the freedom that happens when we're able to open our arms and we create this space around us, these boundaries, and we allow for this opening of our shoulders too. Okay, so let's take a deep breath in and exhale. And up and down, back in. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, now we're just going to experience a little something added to this. So now I want us to bring in our vision. So as we are doing this, I want us to, so when our hands are right here, we're going to be looking at our hands. So we're looking at this space and we see the space expanding. So we're seeing the space expand And now, as soon as my arm reaches eye level, I'm going to start looking outside. So I'm going to switch on that far vision. So right here, we're looking at our hands. We see the space increasing, increasing. Now we're going to look far away. Okay. Now, I invite you guys to experience that with me. And once again, we'll do that breath together, and we'll watch our hands. Okay. So we're going to take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Look far away. Breathe out. Okay. Do that again. Okay. All right. So those were the exercises that we have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed them, and I hope they were able, just to help you experience that gift of being here in this present moment. Make sure you can do these exercises every day for yourself, and for those people that you work with. Thank you so much for having me in this space. It's an honor to be here with you.
We have at least one question here.
Mm-hmm.
So the second variation was more difficult. As a trauma survivor, opening the sacral area is uncomfortable. With practice and repetition, would it eventually build tolerance to opening this area?
Okay. Can you just read that one more time for me?
Sure. So the second variation was more difficult because they're a trauma survivor.
Okay. Yeah.
Opening the sacral area is uncomfortable. With practice and repetition, would it eventually build tolerance to opening this?
Definitely. So I would encourage you to be kind to your body, and really use that exhale to your benefit. So we're just opening up. And if this is as far as you can go right now, that's okay. That's where you're at right now. And, we're just getting our body to move into that extension and that flexion. It's be kind to yourself, and just keep using your breath and keep doing these exercises, and they will increase your flexibility. So I've been doing these for quite a few years. So my flexibility from when I started to now is very different. And so it takes some time. So the biggest thing is just be kind to your body and keep doing these exercises, and you will notice your flexibility, your openness, and you'll notice your body just opening up.
Okay, so another one here is people were wondering if they could have the slides. So I said maybe if they emailed you, that might be an option. I don't know if you're open to that, but
okay.
If you were, I would put your email in the chat there.
Okay. I would have to get permission for that because this is not my material. This is Dr. Masgutova's material. So the sharing of the slides, I would have to get permission for that.
Okay. And then someone asked if you could explain more about embracing.
Yeah. So that's the third, that's that third phase. So that embracing, it's this, it's like we're hugging something or hugging a ball, and it's this reaching out. So kind of that importance is for reaching out for help, that release of tension, that release of stress, and that happens. So after we experience that stressor, so in the infant, they go into this phase and they go into this phase for protection, and sometimes they start crying in this phase. Then afterwards, they're looking for that release that happens, and that's when they go to their caregiver, and that's where you saw that picture of that embrace. And so we're moving our bodies through these different patterns to kind of lay that foundation of, okay, I can protect myself, open, and embrace.
Okay, that's all I see. Someone said, can we practice the embrace with a ball?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yes, we do this all the time. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's all I see. Oh, no, here's a new one. Is it ever valuable to embrace a large stuffed animal? Go ahead.
Yes, I would say embracing anything. Like if you have something that feels safe for you, embracing that just so that you feel that connection to something else, because this is all about that reaching out, that embrace, which lays that foundation for trust and for bonding and attachment. So yes, definitely.
Okay, I think that's everybody. So tell them a little bit about next week, and then we can say bye.
Yeah. So next week, Heather will be here for you guys. And next week, it's all about getting our body grounded and stable. So we're going to be exploring a couple different reflexes that help our body be able to feel that grounding and that stability. So thank you so much for having us here. Yeah, it's an honor to be here. So thank you for being in this space with us.